You've read the books, ran the spreadsheets, optimized every variable, and you're still not where you expected to be financially. That's not a willpower problem. Studies show that people with IQs above 130 are statistically more likely to carry high-interest debt than people with average intelligence. Think about that for a second. This isn't a fringe finding. Research from the University of Minnesota tracked thousands of adults and found no meaningful correlation between cognitive ability and net worth. Your degree, your test scores, your ability to solve complex problems, almost none of it predicts whether you'll actually build wealth. That's the uncomfortable truth this entire system hides. Here's something you can do today that changes everything. Write down the 3 financial decisions you keep postponing and pick the smallest one. Not the most logical one, the smallest. High IQ people stall on big decisions because they keep searching for perfect information. Shipping the small decision breaks the paralysis and starts building the habit of action over analysis. The advice everyone gives is, just learn more, read another book, take another course, get smarter about money. And for high IQ people, that advice is almost poison. Because the more you know, the more sophisticated your excuses become. You don't develop a better strategy, you develop a better sounding reason to wait. Knowledge without execution is just expensive procrastination. There's a reason nobody in the financial world wants to talk about this. If intelligence doesn't predict wealth, then the entire system built around credentials, expertise, and complex strategies starts to look very different. What if the trait that actually builds wealth has almost nothing to do with how smart you are, and everything to do with something most people actively resist? The core problem is called dysrationalia, a term coined by psychologist Keith Stanovich. It describes people who are cognitively capable of rational thought, but consistently fail to apply it to real-life decisions. High intelligence gives you better tools for building complex mental models, but those same models make you dangerously overconfident in your own predictions. You outsmart yourself. Long-term capital management was run by 2 Nobel Prize winners in economics and a team of the most brilliant quantitative minds on the planet. In 1998, their models failed catastrophically and nearly collapsed the global financial system. They didn't fail despite their intelligence, they failed because of it. They had built models so sophisticated they became blind to simple human unpredictability. The average high-income professional spends hours researching investment options, comparing funds, timing the market, and ends up paralyzed or overtrading. The person quietly building wealth picks a simple index fund, automates the contribution, and never checks the balance obsessively. One is playing a game of skill. The other understands it's largely a game of temperament. DALBAR's annual study tracks the average investor return versus the market return. Over 30 years, the S&P 500 averaged roughly 10.7% annually. The average investor earned about 4%. The gap isn't explained by fees alone. It's explained by behavior. Buying high, selling low, switching strategies, overreacting to news. Intelligence didn't help. It often made things worse. Here's the reframe that changes everything. Wealth isn't an intellectual achievement, it's a behavioral one. The question isn't, what do you know about money? The question is, what do you consistently do with it, regardless of how you feel, what the market is doing, or what the smartest people around you are saying? Consistency beats intelligence. Every single time. Principle 1. Automate before you can think. Every financial behavior that requires a conscious decision will eventually fall victim to your moods, your workload, and your rationalizations. Set up automatic transfers to savings and investments the day after your paycheck hits. Remove your own intelligence from the equation. The best financial system is the one that doesn't need you to be smart to work. Principle 2. Set a written investment policy and never deviate from it based on how you feel. This is what pension funds and endowments do. A one-page document, asset allocation, contribution rate, rebalancing rule, that acts as a contract with your future self. When markets crash and your brilliant mind starts generating compelling reasons to sell, the policy overrules you, on purpose. Principle 3. Schedule one financial review per quarter and make it boring on purpose. No market analysis, no strategy pivots, no new investment ideas. Just check that automation is running and contributions match your written plan. Intelligent people destroy their wealth by constantly tinkering. Your micro-challenge today: block 30 minutes in your calendar right now for your next review. That's it. The first way people apply this wrong is confusing sophistication with effectiveness. They automate their basics, then layer complex options strategies, crypto allocations, or alternative assets on top, convinced that their intelligence earns them the right to do more. It doesn't. Every new layer adds new decision points, and every decision point is another opportunity for smart behavior to become self-destructive behavior. The second mistake is thinking behavioral discipline means ignoring information entirely. It doesn't. Warren Buffett reads hundreds of pages daily, but he separates reading from deciding. He consumes information without letting it trigger immediate action. The fix: create a 48-hour rule. Any new financial idea must sit untouched for 2 days before you act on it. Most urgent-feeling decisions stop feeling urgent by then. Consider a schoolteacher named Anne Scheiber. She worked for the IRS, earned a modest salary, and was passed over for promotions her entire career. She invested $5,000 in 1944, chose blue-chip stocks, never sold, and reinvested every dividend. When she died at 101, her portfolio was worth $22 million. No genius, no strategy pivots, just one decision, repeated with iron consistency for 50 years. Let's make this tangible. Two people invest $500 a month starting at age 25. Person A earns the market average of 10%, but tries to time the market, missing the 10 best days per decade, a common behavior for active, intelligent investors. Person B earns the same 10%, but never moves. By 65, Person A has roughly 1.2 million. Person B has 3.2 million. Same income, same market, different behavior. Now, the real obstacles. Some of you are watching this buried in high-interest debt without a stable income, or in a country where investment infrastructure barely exists. Automation and index funds assume a baseline that not everyone has, and that's fair. But the principle still holds. The behavior that matters is spending less than you earn and directing the difference towards something that compounds. The tool changes, the behavior doesn't. Step 1, and do this today. Audit your current financial automation. Open your bank account and answer 3 questions. What transfers happen automatically without your involvement? What financial decisions still require you to manually initiate them every month? And what recurring expense are you paying that you haven't consciously reviewed in over 6 months? Write the answers. That audit alone will show you exactly where intelligence is costing you money. Step 2. Write your investment policy statement this week. 1 page. 3 sections. First, your target asset allocation. How much in stocks, bonds, and cash. Second, your monthly contribution amount, fixed, non-negotiable. Third, your rebalancing trigger. You'll rebalance only when an allocation drifts more than 10% from target and only during your quarterly review. Put it in writing. Sign it. Treat it like a contract. Step 3 is the long game. Every year, increase your automated contribution by 1% of your income, regardless of market conditions, regardless of how smart your new investment thesis sounds. This is called the automatic escalation strategy. You won't feel it in your lifestyle, but compounded over 20 years, it can add hundreds of thousands of dollars to your final number. Boredom, repeated annually, is the most underrated wealth strategy alive. Here's the question that should keep you thinking. If intelligence actively works against wealth building, and the data strongly suggests it does, then what does that say about every elite financial institution, expensive advisor, and complex investment product designed to appeal to your intellect? Are they solving your problem, or are they profiting from the exact cognitive trap we just described? I genuinely want to know what you think.